So it's Teen Wolf time, which because it's June 23rd, which is the debut of whatchamajookie of season 4 of Teen Wolf on MTV. So yeah, I'm really excited. I hope everybody is, and basically, for those of you who've never watched my reviews of this before, expect spoilers because otherwise I wouldn't have too much to talk about. At least I couldn't come up with a lot to talk about. But this episode's called Dark Moon, and that's kind of discussed throughout the plot. So it starts off with Stas and Lydia in Mexico, and it turns out they're visiting a family of Mexican werewolf hunters known as the Calaveras. They're the Calaveras, I believe. I could be getting my names mixed up. I'm sorry, because I just watched the episode. I'm doing this, so I don't know names exactly. And so they go in, and it's a dance club, and they go in, and they eventually meet with the leader, and they say, "Here's 50 grand. Tell us where Derek is." And they're trying to buy their way in. And the leader woman, she says, do you know what tonight is? It's a dark moon. It's a time for grieving. Why aren't you grieving with all the loss that you guys had? With the end of the last season, Allison dying and whatnot. And so they say, why would you come in here alone? And Styles is like, we didn't. And it turns out that Kira, Malia, and Scott are all there. And they fight off some guards and they make their way in. And then, but after that, they're knocked out with Wolfsbane and they're captured. And then from there, they chain Scott and Lydia up, and basically they torture Scott into trying to figure out who took Derek, because it turns out these people don't have him. And so after a lot of temptation, he finally figures out that it's Kate, that it must have been Kate. So then the Calaveras just let them go. They just let him go. And they're going to go try to find Derek, because apparently they had failed, or at least at locating Kate. So, but they give Braden as a guide. Braden was the one who saved Isaac and saved Peter and Derek last season, so we know Braden. So they're going to what is called the church, which is built on top of an Aztec ruins, basically. And so they're driving there, and I guess Scott had figured out what happened with Kate, which was when Kate died, they were wondering if she turned from the scratch. So they went to the morgue where her body was kept, and they saw that it was healing. So they swapped out the bodies, so it wasn't Kate's body at the funeral. And then they locked her in the very same bathroom. They had all the characters locked up, and they gave her basically a shaving knife to kill herself with, because that's part of the hunter's code, is if you're bitten, you kill yourself. But she didn't. She killed everybody around her way out, and then as we know, she kidnapped Derek. So on their way there, Styles' Jeep breaks down. So whatchamajookie, Braden and Scott continue on. They make it to there, and then while they're there, they find out that they're being chased by a berserker. So they fight it off, and then they find Derek, which I'll explain how that cliffhanger works. What was it? And so then a berserker's also hunting Styles, Lydia, Kira, and Malia at the Jeep. And so Malia goes off, and she kind of gets in a off-screen scrap with it, and then they come back. And when they make it to the city, they say that they find Derek, but it's young Derek, like the one from Visionary back in season 3A. And that's where the episode ends. Boom. Done. So, entire ad campaign of this is can't go back, keep moving forward, all that kind of stuff like that. And we see that a lot with the characters. First of all, with Scott, he's kind of emotionally numb from the death of Allison in a way. He's kind of in a relationship with Kira, kind of not. He doesn't, he's kind of just cut himself off. So that's his way of coping, as I can see, and he's trying to be, an alpha. Kira is, again, trying to become part of the group, but she's kind of staying back. She's a little timid through various things of being in the group. And, honestly, that's kind of all the Kira moments we get. Also, we found out apparently she's good with nunchucks besides the katana. Lydia's kind of grieving in her own way, and again, not much character development for Lydia. I mean, she's chained up with Scott, and Scott chooses to get tortured instead of her, and it's just we kind of see more of Lydia's powers and whatnot. And then Stiles and Malia is interesting. Stiles and Malia, their relationship's really, really growing. I don't know if they're a thing yet, but they're definitely okay. They're basically a thing, but Stiles is. We don't know if he. It's basically said that he feels the after effects of being possessed by the Void Spirit last season, so that's definitely there. It's just that it might not have popped up in this episode yet. Whereas Malia is trying to adjust to being a normal teenager. For being a coyote for over 8 years, she developed some funny moments where she, when Lydia was by herself with the leader of the Calaveras, she suggested just leaving Lydia behind because as a coyote, that's what you would do. And then she said, later on after she comes back, Stiles was like, I thought you were running away. And she goes, I wouldn't go anywhere with you. Oh, I'd leave them, but I wouldn't leave you. And so it's another one of those coyote things because coyotes are very loyal. So it's weird and it's really interesting. That relationship, and that's really the only relationships we get to see. Now, by what I can tell, and I'm going to talk about the episode and other things in general. Wow. This season's going to follow the very Teen Wolfy pattern, where there's kind of like a problem for the first couple episodes of the season, and then before the main problem shows up, which I guess this problem is revolving around Derek, before the benefactor comes in, who is heavily publicized as the villain of this half of the season. Who is the benefactor was the thing to unlock the first trailer. It's it's a big thing, and I don't know. I'm really excited for the rest of the season. I mean, the ending of this episode with Derek somehow being his younger self is part of the reason why I still love this show. Like, that came out of nowhere. That caught me off guard. That was really cool and surprising. So, I mean, that's, again, that's why, I love this show, is that it's keeps you on your toes the entire time. And then, it's just a fun show to watch. Yeah, it's gonna be weird without Allison for a whole season, and I'm just interested in where everything goes. It looks like it's gonna be a lot of fun. I think this is gonna be a really good season. We're getting introduced to a lot of new and interesting characters. I mean, there's no more twins, no more Isaac, no more Allison, so there's a lot of voids that had to be filled, which is something that Teen Wolf's done very, very well. Now, they basically disproved the one, but I heard two theories over the break that were really cool, which was, since Kate's not dead, if you go all the way back to the first episode of Season 2, Omega, there's scratches on Kate's, gravestone. So they were like, oh, now that's not the Omega, it's Kate, now that Kate's alive. That was one of the theories that popped up. And the other main theory that popped up was the fact that, Colton Haynes, or Jackson Whitmore, who played Jackson Whitmore, left the show before Season 3. And with Malia being, Peter's illegitimate daughter, it's been thought a lot of ways that maybe Jackson was supposed to be Peter's illegitimate child, but since he left, they couldn't fulfill that, which would be a cool theory. He did show up on set sometime while they were filming, so I'm not sure about everything else. But, who knows? Literally anything can happen in Teen Wolf. I mean, characters you think were dead or not, and then characters who you think are alive or dead. It's all kinds of weird stuff. So, yeah, thanks for watching. I mean, I kind of rambled a little bit with this one, but I'll get back into the swing of this. So, bye.